Never see my father's eyes so blue. Shake it down, try to get that lover's taste from a black shot to make it smooth. He got down on the front end line where they wanted the flame. Oh, get enough of what it takes to follow the hollow. Another line that won't stop for days, and I said, I never saw the world through neon signs, candlelight my eyes. Never saw the world in a different light. Some seems to lie. To the midnight fire tonight.
Just west of the Pennsylvania town of Gettysburg, Union forces are taking a brutal beating from fresh rebel reinforcements under Lieutenant General Richard Ewell.
More Confederate troops are coming in than the Union has coming in, and they're more powerful troops that drive off the Union forces who've been fighting there all day.
Confederate soldier Private John Moore writes about his first taste of combat.
The beginning of the battle was accidental, and the struggle was a fierce affair. But we never failed to drive the enemy when we raised a lusty rebel yell.
The skirmish is a triumph for the rebels.
Ewell's corps came in from the northwest and hit them on the side and blew the whole shebang through town.
Most of the retreating Union troops rushed through Gettysburg to a ridge just south of town with the ominous name, Cemetery Hill. Lieutenant Frank Haskell helps organize the Union defense on the ridge.
Go, boys, rally up behind these lines. Spread out!
As we came near the field, troops were coming in confusion through the town. The shattered regiments were reformed and faced toward the enemy once again. Troops were posted among the graves and monuments, which they used for shelter from the enemy's fire.
In charge of operations on the hill is Major General Winfield Scott Hancock.
Spread out along this ridge. We will hold this line.
Winfield Scott Hancock is one of the best Union Corps commanders of the war. He is given direct orders by Meade on 1 July to move to the battlefield and take charge of the situation until Meade gets there.
Haskell, deploy your troops and hold this line. Yes, sir.
He's got an excellent position. He's got all the high ground. It's a commanding position. It commands the roads. Some people would say that this is the key position that the Union Army holds during the battle. because artillery on this hill could command every road in and out of Gettysburg. You can't maneuver around Gettysburg as long as one side holds Cemetery Hill.
Union officers place the reinforcements all along the ridge. It begins at Big Round Top in the south, goes straight up and around Culp's Hill in the north. Nearly 3 miles long, it's the perfect defensive position.
Robert E. Lee first discovers that a full-scale battle is underway, probably about 1 o'clock or so, as he's riding up onto the battlefield on the 1st of July. It's not what he wanted. He wanted to wait until more forces had gathered in. But the battle is upon him now.
I don't like this ground.
Lee can already see that the enemy has a big tactical advantage. They hold the high ground. Lee also believes he's outnumbered, but these shortcomings have never kept Lee from winning every battle he's fought.
With Robert E. Lee, I think of a modern equivalent. I think of maybe George Patton, somebody who's very audacious, always on the offense, always looking for ways to envelop an enemy.
As the former superintendent of the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, Lee taught strategy to an entire generation of officers on both sides of the war.
He knew the cadets intimately. And when he faced them in battle, less than 10 years later, and many of them became generals at an early age, he knew what he was up against, which is rare in war. So he took advantage of that.
Lee makes his first major tactical decision of the battle. Take Culp's Hill, on the far north of the Union position.
Get our artillery up there, and they can rain destruction down on the enemy's flanks. Tell General Ewell to take that hill if practicable.
If practicable? There could be a couple of thousand Yankees on that hill.
If practicable. Well, what Lee meant in real terms was, do it. Robert E. Lee was a Virginia gentleman. They do not scream at the top of their lungs, and they expect that their subordinates will understand them.
My men have been fighting like the devil all day.
Ewell decides that his forces are exhausted in the fight that's already happened, and so decides under those discretionary orders that it really wasn't possible right now. And there went a great opportunity for the Confederates to win this fight.
If on the first day Confederate troops had occupied Culp's Hill, those troops would have been in a position to attack the flank of troops who were on Cemetery Ridge.
Squeezed between the surrounding rebels, Meade's Union troops would be forced to retreat. Gettysburg would be a Confederate victory, likely forcing a truce with Washington, and the acceptance of 2 Americas. On such small things, like the words, if practicable, hang the fates of nations.